Alright, hello everyone. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make an automatic crafter. Now I have actually two designs here, but one of them is a little bit old-fashioned and actually has two problems that this new design actually solves. It's a little bit more clunkier, but it's more reliable. Now before we even begin the tutorial, I just want to make sure that you guys know that this only works with 3 items, meaning that the following items you cannot craft, such as a suspicious stew, a rabbit stew, a crossbow, very complex fireworks with loads of different stars and stuff, cake, and also pistons. You cannot craft them items, so every other item will work, but them 6 will not work with this system. So we're going to go over like the worst design first. So as you see with this one, it is very compact. However, there's 2 flaws with it. And that is, if you have an item recipe that actually has a lot of one type of item, you need to have this little arm on the left-hand side of it, which I'm going to show you in a second. That basically makes it so that you need to have the entire hopper filled so that it essentially works, which takes forever to fill it. So if you just want to have items in a very quick, rapid succession, you can't really do that with this design. You have to wait for a while before it even starts going, before it even starts making items. As I'm doing right here, I'm waiting for these items to go through this hopper because of this little arm right here that you see. So basically how this works is it has a little clock on the bottom part of it that basically, repeats over and over again, and that basically dispenses the items from the crafter. But it only dispenses every 16 redstone ticks, which is enough for about 4 items to go into the crafter, which is why whenever there's a recipe that has more than 4 types of the same item, it can't fill it up fast enough. Now, as you see right there, I've just activated that comparator to activate this glass right here to be subtracted. What that basically means is it needs to fully fill up before, the crafter starts working. Now, why that is, as I mentioned before, is because the issue with this one is that you need the whole hopper to be filled so that it has enough spare glass so that it can actually fill some of the crafter in, so that it doesn't essentially deplete. Because if that crafter runs out of glass inside of it, it'll start putting in random items from the other 2 chests, which completely breaks the entire machine. Then to solve it by having, a huge wait time, you of course have that huge wait time, which is not ideal. But once you obviously have that little threshold being made right there, you see that it starts crafting it. Now, obviously, how it works right here, when you run out of items, you see when the torches turn on, and then all of a sudden the clock that basically spews out the items stops, because it powers that line at the bottom, stopping the clock. And of course, I'm showing right here that, the filling time for the glass is not fast enough. It crafts one, and then it starts filling it, but it doesn't have enough time to actually fill it all the way. So you can see that's starting to deplete more and more and more the more that it crafts, which is a big problem with this design. And that's why I like to use this design instead. It's a little bit more bulkier, but overall it solves these 2 problems really well. So I'm showing you right now, I'm putting all the items in right now, including this one as well. You'll see that the first 2 items are going through, and you see that the redstone lamps at the bottom are starting to turn off, basically meaning that them items are filled. And so are good to go, and you'll see that it's already activated. You don't have to wait at all. Now, bear in mind, not all recipes require a load of the same item, but ones that do, this design is great for. You don't need to wait for a whole hopper to fill up just in case it breaks the design like the other one. But as you see right here, we are basically filling this hopper up to 23 glass as a little filter, because that's our reserve amount of items. So that will basically stay there forever, to basically always fill the crafter up to full capacity. You also see that it works slightly differently than others' design, but it's kind of the exact same. Only main difference is we actually have 2 hoppers going into the crafter above one another, which allows us to actually have that filter, which of course solves the 2 problems with not needing to have a huge chest on the outside to basically have our never-ending supply of glass, so that doesn't break the design, and also we don't have to wait as long. So what happens if we run out of items? So we're going to, take all of these glass out, and you can see that this actually lights up right here, which basically signifies you have no glass left. So I really like the light system for this design because it actually does alert you, whereas the other one, it just indicates that the systems are working. So if we put enough in right there, it's going to go through, of course. It's going to take the items out, but as you can going to see, it actually fills them all back in, unlike the other design, with the reserve glass that we have. And this is quite literally perfect, and it works for any crafting recipe with 3 items, but up to 3 items. So I'm going to show you guys how to do this, how to essentially build this. You're going to need a lot of resources, but I'm just going to show you how to build it. So on top of this activator rail line, you want to put an observer with a block and then a redstone lamp. A crafter on that block with a chest, that's going to be your output chest. You're going to put some hoppers all going into the sides of this crafter. That's going to be our filter hoppers, and then we're going to put one more hopper on each of the ones at the top, which is going to be the input hoppers. Them are the ones that we're going to basically turn on and off depending on if we have enough items. We're going to put chests on top of all these, and we're going to put item frames in front of all these as well. Now I'm going to make a different recipe right now just to prove that it obviously works with different recipes. Now I'm going to put some redstone at the back. We're going to do all the wiring right now. So we're going to put 2 lines of redstone right here. We're going to get this slab. We're going to get a slab, put it on diagonally from this redstone along like that. And on this, we need to put some comparators. We're going to put some blocks right here where the hoppers are. I misplaced that one right there, but we're just going to break it. And then on these blocks, we're going to put some repeaters, but not quite yet. We're going to put the blocks in this pattern right here to put some redstone on. And then we're going to put the repeaters in right here. Just on one tick. And as you see, that is the design right there. So obviously to show that it works with other crafting recipes as well, we're going to make a daylight sensor. I forgot what it actually was called there. But we're going to input all of the items right now. You're going to see, just like before, the lights at the bottom are turned off, which basically signifies that it is not a problem. There is enough items in the system to essentially craft. And once again, we're going to do the same with the slabs, put them in, and once this last light turns off, then we basically know, right, okay, it's time to craft. And you'll see as soon as it turns off, the light underneath the chest starts bleeping. As you see right there, we are starting to make some daylight sensors. So it works with any crafting recipe. All you need to do is basically just have enough items in the crafter. Now, what you can also do is obviously hook this up with a lot of your farms. So if you have a nether quartz farm via 𝗏𝗏𝗁𝗏, you can hook this up with hoppers and stuff like that. So essentially all the items go straight through to here and it automatically gets crafted into whatever you want. But obviously you can think of all the possibilities with that. Obviously you can have another crafter set up into this as well. So you can have loads of these set up going into one another. Now, I'm also showing you right here what it would be like if you only wanted a 2-item system. It's very easy to kind of like configure this. All you need to do is break the following items that I'm showing you on screen. But you actually want to keep that activator rail because, and I'll show you at the end that I keep it, because the actual observer is looking at that observer at the activator rail. So you want to actually keep that one. But as for the rest of the stuff, it's practically all the blocks bar the 2 redstone lines at the side that you want to keep. And to be quite simple, that's it. You know, that's literally the whole system. As you can see right here, I put the activator rail back because you do want that still. Now, I'm also going to be making a wooden sword. Now, for this one, obviously, we don't want to actually fill all the items because it doesn't actually use all of the items to make a wooden sword. So we want to disable, obviously, 6 of the slots, as I showed you right there. We're going to fill it all in with the items, and then obviously have our reserve chests right here to craft them. And you'll see that it'll immediately start going through, and in a matter of seconds, these lights are going to turn off, and there you go. It's going to start crafting them. Just the exact same as if it was 3 items, and I'm going to show you what it's like if you have only 1 item. Now, there are very small designs for only 1 item, so to be honest, I wouldn't even do this. I would probably just keep it with 3. Because at least if you wanted to make a 2-item or 1-item one, you could just not put anything in the chest on the 3rd one. You don't really have to destroy them and destroy the design. You could just keep it as a 3-1 and then just not have a 3rd chest essentially. But to basically show you right here, it still works. You do need to keep the bit of redstone at the back as I showed you there. Just to make sure that the redstone line doesn't activate the redstone repeater. But yeah, that's basically everything right there, guys. This is the best crafter I've found. I believe it was made by 𝗏𝗏𝗁𝗏, so big props to him. And yeah, hopefully this helped, and I'll see you guys in the next one.